Hello everyone, it's Datasets. What if you could turn a boring dataset like this into something like this in just a few clicks? In today's video, I'll show you how to do exactly that using conditional formatting. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to highlight important values and make your dataset much easier to analyze. For this tutorial, I'll be using a dummy sales dataset. You can download the dataset from the description below so you can follow along. Now, let's dive right in. First, let's start by converting our dataset into an Excel table. To do that, select any cell in the dataset and press Ctrl+A to select all the data. Next, go to the Insert tab and click on Table. This will open a dialog box showing all the data selected. Make sure the option My Table Has Headers is checked, then click OK. Now our dataset has been converted into a table and Excel automatically applies a style. However, since we'll be adding conditional formatting, I'm going to change the table style to something more plain and simple so it doesn't conflict with the formatting we'll be applying later. Now that our data is ready, let's start applying conditional formatting to highlight important insight in the dataset. Let's start with the revenue column. I'll select the first value in the column, then press Ctrl+Shift+ down arrow to quickly highlight all the values in that column. Next, still on the Home tab, I'll move to the Style section and click on Conditional Formatting. Here, you'll see several options, including Highlight Cells Rules, Top Bottom Rules, Data Bars, Color Scales, and icon sets. For this example, we'll be using data bars. Data bars provide a visual representation of the values in the column. The highest value gets the longest bar, while the other values are scaled proportionally based on their size. This makes it much easier to quickly compare performance across the data sets. I'll go ahead and select this design. And as you can see, Excel immediately adds the data bars to the column. The highest value, 14999, has the longest bar, and the other values are proportioned relative to it. This makes it much easier to quickly spot higher and lower revenue values in the data set. If you want to make changes to the formatting, you can do that from the conditional formatting options. Go to Conditional Formatting and click Manage Rules. This opens the Conditional Formatting Rules Manager, where you can see all the rules currently applied to your worksheet. Since I only have one rule applied, I'll select it and click Edit Rule. This opens the Edit Formatting Rule dialog box. Here, I'll change the data bar color to blue and also adjust the border to a darker shade of blue. Once that's done, I'll click OK, then Apply, and OK again. Now the data bar color has been updated. Next, I'll highlight the values themselves to make the data set easier to read. I'll select the revenue column, go to Conditional Formatting, and choose Highlight Cells Rules. I'll select greater than, I'll type 5000, and since the color I want isn't listed, I'll click Custom Format. This opens the Format Cells dialog box. Under the Font tab, I'll change the font color to green, then click OK and OK again. Now I'll repeat the process for values less than 5000. I'll go to Conditional Formatting, choose Highlight Cells Rules, select less than. I'll type 5000 and choose the red text option, then click OK. I would like the green color to be slightly darker, so I'll go back to Conditional Formatting and select Manage Rules. I'll select the rule for values greater than 5000, click Edit Rule, and change the font color to a darker shade of green. Then I'll click OK, Apply, and OK again. Now the data set clearly highlights values greater than 5000 in green and values less than 5000 in red, making it much easier to quickly interpret the revenue performance. Next, I'll move to the status column. Here, I want to highlight the different order statuses: completed, pending, and cancelled, to make the data set easier to interpret. I'll start by selecting the status column, then go to Conditional Formatting. Choose Highlight Cells Rules and select Text that contains. Excel already detects the text completed, so I'll click Custom Format. Under the Field tab, I'll choose green and leave the font color as automatic. Then click OK and OK again. Now you can see that all the completed statuses are highlighted. I'll repeat the same process for pending. Again, I'll go to Conditional Formatting, choose highlight cells rules, and select text that contains. This time, I'll type pending and choose yellow fill with dark yellow text option. Then click OK. Next, I'll create another rule for cancelled. I'll go to the conditional formatting, choose highlight cells rules, select text that contains, type cancelled, and choose light red fill with dark red text option. Then click OK. Now we can clearly see the color coding for each status in the dataset. I'm not completely satisfied with the green used for completed, so I'll adjust that. I'll go to the conditional formatting, select manage rules, choose the rule for completed and click edit rule. I'll open the format option and try a different color, but it still doesn't look quite right. So instead, I'll delete the rule by selecting the rule and click the delete option. Then click apply and OK. I'll recreate the rule again, but this time I'll use Excel's presets option, green fill with dark green text. This looks much better. I'll still like the text to be slightly darker, so I'll go back to manage rule, select the rule again, and click edit rule. Under font color, I'll choose a darker shade of green, then click OK, apply, and OK again. Although the change is subtle, but it looks cleaner to me. Of course, the final styling really comes down to your personal preference. Now with this color coding, we can instantly see which orders are completed, which ones are still pending, and which transactions were cancelled. This makes it much easier to monitor the overall status of the dataset. Next, we'll move to the gross profit column. I'll start by selecting the column data, then go to conditional formatting and choose color scales. Here, you will see several color scale options you can use to visualize your data. The choice really depends on what you want to highlight in your data set. For this example, I'll select the green color scale. Now, Excel automatically applies a gradient where darker green represents higher profit values and lighter green represents lower profit values. This makes it much easier to quickly identify areas where profits are high or lower in the data set. At a glance, we can now easily spot the transactions generating the highest profits. Next, we'll move to the units sold column. I'll select the column data and go to conditional formatting again. This time, I'll choose icon sets. Excel provides several icon set options, and the one you choose should depend on the type of insight you want to highlight in your data. For this example, I'll select this icon set and then I'll customize it. To do that, I'll go to the conditional formatting, click Manage Rules, select the rule we just created, and click Edit Rule. Here we can define the value threshold for each icon. For values greater than or equal to 75, I'll select the green icon. For values greater than or equal to 50, I'll leave the icon as it is. For values greater than or equal to 25, I'll choose yellow. And for the remaining values, I'll select the red. Once that's done, I'll click OK, then apply and OK again. With these icons, we can instantly identify products performing well and those that may require more attention. Finally, I'll add totals at the bottom of the table to make the data set more complete and easier to read. I'll also apply a bit of styling by adding a fill color and adjusting the text to make it stand out. Next, I'll add borders to the table to give the data set a cleaner structure. I'll also adjust the overall text color of the table to give it a more consistent look. And here's our final data set. This is how the table looked before, and this is what we've transformed it into using conditional formatting. And with that, we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something useful about using conditional formatting in Excel to make your data set more insightful and easier to analyze. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.